Back on Sports 225, and I've been waiting a long time to visit with Coach Les Miles. And I like this idea of coming in the middle of the season or 2/3 of the way through instead of the beginning, because we've actually got season substance to talk about.
Well, and it's the perfect time too for you, Lee. It just gives us look back, look forward, and we have time in the middle of the week to visit.
Yeah, and all right, so we're a couple of days away from this year's Game of the Century.
Exactly right.
One of the things I really liked about Coach Miles from the start was that he likes big games and isn't afraid to say they're big games. And it's got to be so much fun for you again. Another year with a national championship on the line, and it's a big game.
Yeah, and our guys want to play well. They want to represent themselves in this school and certainly Tiger Stadium that night with our best play.
You don't get to go tailgate, but I will tell you this: inside the stadium will be close to 93,000, bursting at the seams, a 92.5 stadium. And outside, there's going to be 40 or 50,000 people who don't go to the game. They're just coming to tailgate.
Having a blast. What's amazing is in my time, 8 years, finishing up my 8th year, some of the evenings in Tiger Stadium are by far and away my greatest memories. And there's probably 3 or 4 games that I remember where Tiger Stadium made a significant difference. Most recently, the South Carolina game was one of those very special moments in Tiger Stadium, and we'd like to see a very similar environment this Saturday.
Well, it's going to be nuts. Don't worry. The Florida game, where you went for it so many times on 4th down. I always, my image is being down late in the game and being close to seeing Jacob Hester just grind out this incredible, might have been a 4th and 2 near the goal line. Are you a different coach than from then to now, and largely because of personnel, because you had so much trust? You had that thing going for a while where it seemed like you would try anything, anytime. And I've always told people that the reason you do that is because you have the personnel to do it. It's not because you just do trick plays to trick the other team. It's because you have trust and the personnel. Is that the biggest reason why you're more conservative?
Yeah, I think, I don't know that more conservative is necessarily the case. I think it's respective of the personnel that you have, and really, how prepared are you for a call? If we don't have the personnel, or that call's not there, it's just not, there's not an opportunity at the call. The best call then is to kick traditionally, or do the things that you normally do. We use our personnel as best we can, and we look to put ourselves in those positions to have those calls. Sometimes they are, and sometimes they aren't there.
Do you lay awake at night though, thinking of weirdo plays that you could do?
No.
Do you sleep like a baby?
No. When I get in, I sleep hard. And then when I wake up, I'm right awake. It happens to me, sometimes 4 o'clock, sometimes 6 o'clock. But it's when the eyes open, it's time to go.
Welcome to our age, but that's a whole other story for another day.
That's
too.
Correct.
Remember the days when when we were kids, you could just sleep forever. You'd roll over, you look at the clock at 5, 6, 7 o'clock. I'm gonna go back to sleep again for a little while.
Yeah, I can remember actually having a comfort in sleeping till 10 o'clock in the morning. I can't imagine that today. On my wildest day off, I'm not sleeping till 10 o'clock, period.
Let's talk turnovers. I think that if I were to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you actually, do turnovers bother you more than almost anything in life?
Yeah, I think it's pretty comfortable. I would occasionally get a speeding ticket. I think that's painful. I think turnovers are about 10 times that.
Speeding tickets and turnovers.
Yeah, I recognize that the greatest statistic in predicting victory is having a positive turnover margin. To add possessions to your team's chances to score, and we're in my opinion, turning the corner there. I think we started the season not so well in view of turnovers. You know, we didn't have a turnover on the road at A&M, which I think certainly in tight games is as important as anything there is.
Well, since you've been playing a lot of tight games, I mean, the turnover against Florida probably was the difference. Against South Carolina, it was a pretty fine, it was a 2-point game, pretty fine margin for error.
Absolutely.
And the same thing at Texas A&M. The reason I ask that too is it ties into the first question, which is the so-called old and daring Les Miles to the new young,
old and daring,
more
how
conservative
wonderful,
guy.
huh?
See, I got that
young,
little backwards.
yeah, I like
twisted.
that, young and conservative.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think we're going to play for victory. I think we're going to play to win.
Oh, you always do. But it's not wrong sometimes to play not to lose the game and then win that way, isn't it? Isn't that sometimes what your philosophy is?
Oh, you're saying sometimes it's smart to punt and let the defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty much the last year and a half, that's the kind of coach you've
on
been.
the field.
You know, you're a run first, pound it guy, which I would be if I had those running backs. And you're a not take too many chances on the passing game, and when in doubt, kick the field goal. When in doubt, there, punt. I mean, isn't that you've kind of been that kind of guy? And I don't fault you for that. Yeah, I'm just saying that's an observation.
I'd have to say that I want to be a guy that throws with real equity. I'd like to be a run pass balance. That when you line up against us on 1st and 10 or neutral downs, that you would expect that the ball could easily be thrown in short and long. Mm-hmm. That to me is an important mix that we have to have. But when we turn to run the football at times, we have to run the football to have success. And so that always has to be maybe a first factor, but not necessarily a first call. It should be some balance run and pass. I've always thought that the defense's most difficult piece is to defend a formation that is equally apt to run it or throw it. And their inability to predict well gives us the best numbers to run it or throw it, for that matter.
Was it your guy, Coach Schembechler, or was it the hero of your youth, Woody Hayes, who said, when you pass the ball, 3 things can happen and 2 of them are bad?
Yeah, I'm going to...
It was one of those guys, wasn't it?
It was absolutely Woody Hayes, but that's not something it's not a philosophy that I've really grabbed on too hard.
There are many things that can happen on Sports 225, but not going to break at the right time is one of them that's bad. So we're going to do that. Coach Les Miles here. We're in the LSU Football Operations Building Recruiting Lounge. Is that what we call this?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Nice. I never sat in a chair quite with a pattern like this before. I'm Lee Feinswog. We'll be right back.